This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz in Orange County. Today we are joined by the mayor of Fountain Valley. Her name is Cheryl Brothers. We'll be talking about an historic event coming up, but first I want to speak about a measure that will be on the ballot in November. It's known as Measure HH, and Fountain Valley is not alone in seeking a 1-cent sales tax for its city services. Tell us about Measure HH.
Measure HH is being put on the ballot so our voters can decide if they want to continue with our excellent city services that they've experienced all these years, and the only way to do that is for the city to have more funding.
Is this an extension of an existing sales tax?
No, it's not.
So this is a first-time deal?
This is a first-time deal.
And
we don't have some things like a utility tax.
I see.
Or a parcel tax.
Or a redevelopment agency.
And now
that's
a redevelopment
gone.
agency, yes it is.
And so for this to pass, you would need 50% plus one.
Correct.
And I want to get a sense from you, what is the mood of the voters in Fountain Valley? Do you have a sense of where they are?
Well, I do. And they are either in complete understanding and total agreement because they do appreciate the services that we offer.
Right.
And or they are
Anti-tax.
in denial.
Anti-tax. Doesn't matter what the tax is.
Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how good the services are.
So does Measure HH say where the money will go?
It does say where it would go.
And what are you thinking? What are the drafters thinking?
It will go into the general fund.
Which is required, I guess. Otherwise, it would be a specific tax
That's
needing
correct.
a different threshold to pass.
That's correct. And it would go into the general fund with oversight of a taxpayers committee that would be formed by citizens in the city. And it would allow us to continue to do things. Our safety protection in the city with police and fire is close to 75% of our annual
Do you have your own
budget.
fire department?
We do.
Yeah, you don't contract out?
No, we do not. We're full
Same
service
with
city.
police as well?
Correct. And since that's 75% of our budget, unfortunately, if this does not pass, that's where the deepest cuts will be made.
No other way to do it.
There is no other way to do it.
I want to ask you, though, about the November ballot generally.
All right.
So as you know, on that ballot will be a small race for the President of the United States, as well
Who would
as...
that be?
Who would that be? As well as a U.S. Senate race, congressional race, assembly race, state Senate race, maybe a supervisorial race. I'm not sure if it's in your district.
It is.
17 initiatives on the ballot, statewide initiatives, including some that deal with revenue. Prop 30 extension. Now, it's not an extension on the sales tax increase. It's only on the wealthiest. Cigarette tax, school bond measure. There's a lot on the ballot.
There is.
And so are you concerned, Mayor, that with the ballot being so long and with other revenue measures on the ballot, that the voters of Fountain Valley will either forget to go to the bottom of the ballot and or feel taxed out?
We are concerned about that, of course, as anyone who's putting something on the ballot should be. We've been doing a tremendous amount of outreach in the community. In fact, I'm going to one of our movies in the park tonight,
of course.
And we'll be doing some more outreach there. So we have been doing our homework and trying to get as many resident voters as we can to listen. If they come into one of our sessions on this issue with a no vote attitude, typically they leave with a greater understanding and saying, okay, I get it. You've done a lot. I don't see anything else you can do.
I'll think about it, and maybe you can sway them.
Yes, yes. So once they hear the story, they are pretty convinced that it is the right thing to do.
I want to talk about another matter. I'm a complete history nerd. I admit it. I'm sorry, but I am. And so and I think you are too?
I am a little bit, yes.
You're president of what?
I'm president of the Fountain Valley Historical Society.
And so tell us about the first, is it building or home?
First building.
Wow.
And home.
Tell us about
first
it.
building.
In Fountain Valley.
Yes. It's up on a bluff, and it's the Courageous Ranch,
And by the way, Courageous is a last name.
That is the last name.
Which I
of the
love.
family.
It's not spelled like courageous, but it means so many things. It's
Yes,
just
it
the
does.
perfect name.
Yes, it does.
Right.
Yes. Well, the family is still in the area.
Nice.
Some still live in Fountain Valley, but the matriarch of the family in the most recent generation, it was her wish as one of the founding members of the Historical Society that this building be preserved.
Is she no longer with us?
She is no longer with us. She has passed away, and the family has taken quite a bit of time to go through things that are left on the property.
It's a large piece of property.
It's
relatively speaking.
It's a little over an acre now.
Not bad, not bad.
But at one time it was many acres. The original builder of the building bought the original acres with gold.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And he built this in 1898. So it was Fountain Valley's first building and now our oldest remaining building.
And as I understand it, the successive generations still with us want
Yes.
to sell the property.
Yes.
But they also want to preserve this historic home.
Yes.
And so it seems as if the Historic Society, the city, have come together in a collaborative fashion to figure out how everyone can win.
That's right.
So tell us about the win-win.
Well, the win-win is we've had several corporate contributors.
Sponsors, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hyundai Motor America has been a big one. Republic Environmental Services, or Rainbow Trash Disposal, has been another one. And then a lot of individual Fountain Valley residents. And we're going to make a big deal of the move.
So
but
what you have to do first is you're going to move,
That's
literally take the house off the foundation, and
Correct.
that's happening.
Correct.
And move it to where?
It's going to Fountain Valley Heritage Park, which
Perfect.
is next to our library, behind our city hall.
And so I presume that when you pick it up and move it, it's not going to open like that. You got to do
No.
some fix it or whatever it may be.
Well, it's now in two pieces, and it will be for some time, but when it gets to the property, it will be reassembled, and we will need to continue to do a little more fundraising and then have a ribbon cutting.
Do you need restoration work?
Some restoration work.
And are there period pieces, period artwork? Can we take tours? What's going to happen?
It's 3 stories,
Okay.
which is unusual
Right.
in and of itself, and the builder lived in the middle level
Okay.
for some time before he built his real house. And so what we're going to do with it when it gets to the property is the ground floor will be exhibit space.
Perfect. And then the top 2 floors closed off to the public?
Closed off to the public. The access to
It's all
those
good.
is
When do you think we will see the 1898 tank house from the Courageous Ranch open?
I'm predicting in 2 months. I'm hopeful for that.
Oh, that's soon. That's
3,
quick.
3 months
Hopefully
at the
by the end of the
outset.
year, beginning of the year.
Definitely by the end of the year.
You must be really excited.
We are
What a great
very
project.
excited.
Her name
Very
is Cheryl Brothers. She is the mayor of Fountain Valley, the president of the Fountain Valley Historical
Society. Yes.
And don't forget to go see the Courageous House at the
Heritage Park.
My name is Brad Pomerantz. You've been watching us on Local Edition.